Right, so we're back again, like a fast pit stop. We've changed it around and we've got another racing driver. We've got Ruben Stanislaus here. Ruben, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Yourself?
Very well, thank you, yeah. And are you enjoying Goodwood so far?
I am, very much so. I've literally been here half an hour, but from what I've seen, it's bigger than ever before. Loads more cars, loads more stands, loads more people, and a lot more younger people as well, which is good to see.
That's good to see, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And we've been here for a couple of days, and yeah, no, it's really good. We've had some young people on the racing sim, raising money for Halo, and it's been fantastic to see. So yeah, the next generation is very much coming through, which leads us to you,
yes.
The next generation coming through. So how have you been in the last year since we met here last time at Goodwood?
I've been good. I've been busier than I thought.
Yeah.
This year hasn't turned out how I expected to from last year, but I've been making the most of what I can do. Because I've not actually been in the car this year at all. So obviously coming from last year, winning a championship, coming vice champion in another one, you would have thought I'd be in a car this year, but obviously finances didn't come through, and it's about doing what I can off the track and progressing as well, because I could have done a championship in a lesser car, in a less respected championship, but I don't think that's fair on myself or to my sponsors either.
Yeah.
Because we came in at quite a high level in the Pragas, so it's going to be difficult to beat that for what I do in the future, but it's all about progression, and I'd rather take a year out, focus on coaching, training, so I'm ready for next year to go all out and smash it again.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk a bit more in detail about that. What have you been working on this year, and what have you been doing to keep your eye in the game, really?
Yeah, so I've been training a lot in the gym, there 3-4 times a week. Just to get physically fit, because when I first got into the Praga, I couldn't do more than 10 minutes in the car. So it was a big eye-opener to realise how important physical fitness is, as well as mental fitness as well, that discipline and training yourself, but also on the simulators as well. That's been a massive focus for this year. I've been working with Sim Motorsport, so I'm a brand ambassador for them now, and I'm also coaching a lot of people on the sims as well. So yeah, just doing as much as I can on the sim, learning a load of different cars, different tracks. So whenever the opportunity comes up, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And last weekend, we'll talk about it in a second, but talking of sim racing, you won a competition recently, which led to doing something last weekend. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I was actually doing a coaching session at Sim Motorsport with a kid called Zach Signy. He's 12 years old and a great talent. And after that, I went to Blue Water with a few of my friends. We're just going to go to the studio to make some music. So we met up at Blue Water and I saw a couple of sims. So it was the Visa Cash Out RV team with the Hugo Boss collaboration. So obviously if I see sims, I'm going to have a go. And it was on F1, so I've never driven on that game before, around Silverstone. Obviously I know the track fairly well.
Yeah.
And I just had one go and I got one of the fastest times. And I didn't realise it was a competition at the time. I just gave it my all, and a few hours later I got an email come back saying you've won tickets to the British Grand Prix. So
fantastic. And what a British Grand Prix it was. And of course there's a lovely link there, because a couple of years ago you did a documentary called Born to Race, and the gentleman you got to interview actually won the race, which was Lewis Hamilton. So bit of a full circle moment there, really, to see Lewis win his first race in 2.5 years. What was that like at Silverstone last weekend?
It was awesome. I mean, from when I interviewed Lewis, that was a bit of a life-changing moment, because that's been my hero since I was 3 years old. That's how I got into motorsport, literally watching it with my dad on TV, and I said, I want to be like that, I want to do that one day. And I mean, Lewis hadn't won a race since I interviewed him a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
That was the first time to see him win, and the first Grand Prix I've ever been to. So that was, it couldn't have been a better Grand Prix to go to.
I'd imagine you probably want to come to a few more as a good luck omen.
I'd love to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll try and sell that one to Lewis. Yes. And so what does the future hold? Obviously, you say this season has not turned out the way you want to be, but you've been working on it. What's the plans for the future and next season?
So right now it's just getting sponsors on board, networking, meeting as many people as I can, and bringing value to other people as well.
Yeah.
So next year I'm hoping to be in a GT car, whether it be GT4, GT3, Super Trofeo, something like that. The Formula route, I've shifted my focus from that because obviously every kid wants to be in Formula One, and then you get into racing, you do it for a few years, you love it, and then you realise it's very expensive. So if you haven't got millions in the bank or a massive family business that can, push you through, it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
So although I love to do it, my focus is on GT racing, LMP racing, because I also love that as well. And you can see a clear career path in that, whether it be through gentleman drivers, you've got a Pro-Am series as well. So it's a lot more accessible, and it's just trying to find ways into that house, whether it's through the front door, through the back door, through the window. I've got to find a way in and make it work.
Yeah, which is the right attitude to have ultimately, isn't it? And you're right. I mean, motorsport, we see the 20 drivers in Formula One, and there's still a statistic. I think there's only about 700 people that have ever raced in Formula One, let alone won anything in Formula One. So it's a niche club, but there are so many great careers out there.
Exactly.
And I suppose from your side, what are you doing outside of racing in terms of what are you able to offer sponsors at the moment to join Ruben on the journey to get into next season?
Yeah, so it goes far further than a sticker on a car, because nowadays that's simply not enough. A big eye opener was the importance of social media. So I've been pushing my social media. I've been on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Got over 5,000 followers combined on all of that. Over 1 million likes altogether. And views, and yeah, it's a lot of social media work. So obviously having a car that I can put a company on is a big point, but to be able to publish that to my own audience, people of the younger generation as well. So if it's trying to break into a different demographic, and just show a product from a different angle and a very unique perspective, that's something that I can do, and pushing to build my audience.
Yeah. And just before we finish, obviously you and I were teammates a couple of weeks ago at the Damon Hill Karting Challenge. How did you find that?
That was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, racing against Damon Hill, I don't think he knows it, but I got a move on him on the GoPro on the first corner. Which, I saw it, and I know you guys were calling me into the pits, but I didn't realise at the time. It's only when I saw Kaz on the last lap, and I saw Damon literally probably from here until the end of this garage. And I saw him, and I was going on to my last lap, and I saw that corner there, and I thought I have to pass Damon before I come in.
Yeah, you got to do it. No. You were forgiven. Don't worry.
Don't
worry. You were forgiven. And if you have got a copy of that video, I'll make sure he gets
100%.
it. No, that's great. Well, thanks so much for joining us again, Ruben. I hope you have a good rest of the day at Goodwood. And will you be able to go on our sim later on, see if you can get the fastest time? Brilliant, excellent. Okay, well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to Ruben. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And as I said earlier, we've got more speakers on today. We have Harry Sherrard, who is a motorsport historian. He will give the history of Goodwood and the Festival of Speed and how it's grown into this phenomenal event we're at today. And then at 3 o'clock, we've got Jim Wiseman, who's the producer of, was the producer of Top Gear. In those prime years, he was the one that came up with the challenges. He was the one that came up with the Reason Price car. He also directed the Mansell Red 5 documentary, which was award-winning last year. So really worth coming to see him. And thanks again, Ruben.
Thank you.